Engaged content delivery and learn means कि Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the sixth session of June session series. And today we have Mr. Jehanzeb Khan, who is the lecturer BS English Language and Literature, and he's working at AKUID. Today his topic is flipped classroom, a need of the day in ELT classroom. So over to you, Mr. Jehanzeb. You may start your session now.
Assalamu alaikum to everyone. How are you? Hope you people are doing good. My name is Jehanzeb Khan, and I have been in education and in the field of education for almost like maybe 17, 18 years now. But still, I feel like it's still, every day is a learning day for me. So before we move in, normally when we are looking at the teachers and the classroom, one thing you need to remember is that in the past we used to say I'm a teacher. Then we heard some other names like motivator, assistant, facilitator, coach, life coach, kind of a lot of things that we have heard about teachers. But basically, one thing that you should not forget, that teacher without learning, in both cases, for the students also and for the teacher, him or herself also, it's very, very important for us that we should also be learning. And I must thank EdLab Foundation for that they have given us an opportunity to learn and share and learn from other people also. So, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all. And the topic is, I don't think so it's something that you must not be knowing. These are just fancy words, most probably, that maybe you don't know, or most of you knowing them. So, as I said, teachers, in the last we used to say that teacher is the one who is in the classroom and teaching. And then we came up with the words like teaching and learning process. तो इससे पहले हम ये सिर्फ ये कह रहे थे कि यार टीचर जो है ना बस मैं टीचिंग करता हूँ. Now the question is not about teaching actually. Now the question is about, are the students learning also? So if the students are learning, right, then we can say that the teaching process is going on, or it's in the is effective. So first of all, I think you must be knowing about the word flipping the classroom. I am sure that a lot of you people know this and you do this, but how we are doing it, are we doing it correctly or not? See, in the past, we used to think about the two things. Number one, the learning is only happening in classroom. That was a kind of a conception or a perception or a concept that was. Secondly, the teacher is the fountain of the knowledge for the students. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and all my dear teachers, you must be knowing about that now it's not about the fountain of knowledge. I think ChatGPT, Grok, they have more knowledge than us. They are actually the real fountains of knowledge from which we teachers are also washing our hands. Secondly, what about the classroom concept? Concept of a lesson. These are very, very important issues that we should be knowing about. Like, for example, if I ask you, how you define or what is the definition of one lesson or one period that you conduct. So if I ask you, like maybe just write or maybe think about it, what is the definition of a lesson for you? One lesson. So most probably we have different definitions. These are pitching in. So some people may be thinking that um, a lesson is the one in which the teacher goes in and they just go and talk or deliver something to the student. So the first thing that you need to understand is that one lesson, it means what? It means one lesson means the distance that we travel towards our goal that we have set. Okay. So one lesson is the one step towards our goal and achievement. So if we can take that step properly and timely, I think we can do more positive change, or we can bring more positive change in the students' learning behavior and their concept towards the teaching and learning, rather than we go and say, oh, I just had a lesson today. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's move ahead. When we are looking at the um, flipped classroom, okay. Now, in the flipped classroom, as the name indicates, we flip, okay. Now, in the traditional classroom, what we do lectures during the classroom and homework is done at home, okay. You got this point? Now, this is the traditional model. Now, on the other hand, the flipped classroom, as the name indicates, it flips the content. So the content is delivered outside the classroom and class activities. So class time for the activities. So it's more like, you can say, like normally we say that the students, we give them the reading or any assignment that you think that you are giving them in the classroom. For example, the whole lecture. Um, what lecture you are going to deliver. That lecture is actually students, they go home, they have watched it, they have, like all the things that you need that you are going to do in the classroom. Actually, they go and do it at home. And when they return, instead of you teaching them, are you getting this point? See, instead of you teaching them, you are the one who is telling them what to do or delivering the content. So what they have done, they have already the content with them, they have understood it, and now what is they are doing in the classroom, they are doing activities with you. Are you getting this point? So traditionally, you were totally busy in the classroom and the students were busy at home. Now the student is busy at home looking at the content, preparing the lecture that you have already given him in the form of reading material, or it might be a YouTube video or your own recorded voice audios. Okay. And when they return, so you are actually working with them based on the activities on the lesson that they have at home. So why to flip a classroom? So, like it's very, very important for us that we have to think about that. Why we have to flip a classroom? Was the traditional classroom not working, or was the traditional, was the teaching style that we have? Is it working? So let me ask you the same question, and you need to ask the same question. Like it's kind of a self-questioning now. Um, do you think um, like our lecturing system is not good? So if your answer is yes, it's not good enough, so I think that I personally have to ask myself, am I a good teacher then? Because I came through the same methods. I came through the same lecture method. no kind of um, so I didn't have this privilege of flipping the classroom. My teacher was not engaging us. Yeah, you are very right, Amreen, that um, it's the like it's kind of a boring, right? But like we were used to these things. So like whenever we are looking at this thing, like Hazrat Ali Karmalawaj, what he says about is that आप अगर अपनी आने वाली नस्ल को उसी तरीके से ट्रीट करेंगे जैसे आप आपको ट्रीट किया गया था, या आप उसको ऐसे ही पढ़ाएंगे जैसे आपको पढ़ाया गया था, तो डोंट एक्सपेक्ट एनी गुड फ्रॉम देम। तो ये एक बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, और लर्निंग में और में भी यही बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट एलिमेंट है। आवर न्यू like this generation alpha and the generation Z, they are different from us. We were sitting, we were engaged, we were like focused, we had less distractions, and honestly we had less resources also. Now they have more resources. Actually, they have the whole world on their palm, actually. So like these palm tops, these laptops, these mobile phones, actually they have like revolutionized the teaching. Honestly, my own PhD thesis is also based on integration of the mobile technology in teaching formal writing skills. And my conclusion is that the students, they had 6 times more, they were 6 times more engaged. Their scores are 4 or 5 times more than the normal or the controlled or the lecture systems uh, um, teaching method. So like it is working, but one of the greatest point that we have also, that the students were more distracted. They were using ChatGPT and all this stuff. Like you got this point. So like yes, we are living in the age of technology, but this age of technology has actually negative effects on us also. So how we have to bridge that part? What my personal opinion is, and the way I have seen the thing, and after implementing the flipped classrooms many a times, like it needs the students to work, right? They have to do a lot of things at their own. So we have the personalized learning for them, in which the students, like they learn at their own pace. Let's say like you have 14 minutes in your, you have 50 minutes in your classroom. Okay. And in this 15 minutes or 50 minutes, um, in this 50 minutes, what's your talk time? Like what's the ideal talk time? I'm not talking about the 16 students class where the ideal talk time is just the 20% of your total time, or maybe 16% of your total time. I'm referring to actually that you do in your classrooms. Maybe 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. And then what you do? Half of the time, I think we are mostly shouting, keep quiet, focus, don't talk, don't do this, right? So in the flipped classroom, actually, what you are looking at, you are more engaged with the students, right? You are more engaged with the students rather than, my teacher used to, um, say that, like we teachers are like Columbus, like when we are going in the classroom, we don't know where we are going. When we are there, we don't know where we are. And when we return, when we come back, we don't even know what we have discovered. Like this discovery is very important. How we come to know that what my student has learned, honestly, and a lot of times we are like Columbus. We don't know where we are going. We don't even know the waters where we are. We know the content. We know the subject. We think that the things have improved. We assume that it was a great lesson. But what about, like the same words that I am using again and again, and sorry for that, teaching and learning. Like it's not that you do the teaching and there is no learning. Is that good? if you are a good teacher, if the students are learning. So the project base is fine, Lubna, but the problem with the project base is that you need ample time for that. Okay, and that's at times at different lessons. It's a very good activity. So what we have to do, like the benefits of the flipped classroom is the critical thinking. If अगर हम ये देखें ना एक एक पॉइंट पे कि यार ऑनेस्टली मतलब हमारी जो लेक्चर बेस्ड सिस्टम है इसमें थिंकिंग प्रोसेस या क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग को कितना डेवलप किया जाता है, हम क्वेश्चन आंसर के लिए कितना टाइम रखते हैं। मोस्टली हमारे लेसन प्लान आखिरी 5 मिनट्स कहते हैं जी रिकैप करने के लिए, राइट? So we are not looking at the recap. We are actually looking at the whole lesson is based on the critical thinking. Our activities are based on where we are actually asking the students, let's come and evaluate and re-evaluate actually. So it's not only evaluation, it's the re-evaluation also. So what we are looking at, like we had the generations and each and every generation was different from us. Most probably the generation that I belong to, that's the most confused one. And we have been going through, that was not going through. We have to be the transition part in which we had seen the Commodore 64 type laptops and the computers. Then we saw the laptops with generations and generations, like the speed and Windows 98, and now we are in Windows 11. So, like if generation is changing with the technology, so why our teaching system is not changing with the technology? Like if you just look at the 1990 or 2000, model of a car, and you look at the same class in 1975, you don't see any difference in that class. The students are sitting, the teacher is teaching, there is a whiteboard. Now that whiteboard is replaced with the smart one or the LEDs. Okay. So, like the generation that we are teaching right now, that's, like they do not have this comfort that we used to have. One homework and we are done. There was no distraction. There was only a playing time that we used to have. So actually the flipped classroom is the one which actually helps us. Okay. Now, the first thing is the active learning. Okay. Now, if I have a word like active learning, then definitely there is a word like passive learning, right? So what's the difference between the active learning and the passive learning? There must be something, right? That's why we have the two words. Can we say that that active learning is the one in which the students know what they are learning, and the passive learning is the one in which they don't know what they are learning, but it is becoming the part of their memory and the learning? Like in the ecological model of the teaching, maybe you have heard this name. We have the models of the learning, like multimedia, and in the integration part we have a multimedia learning also, in which we have the great people like Piaget and Vygotsky, right? So they talk about the learning and the cognitive theory and the cognitive factors in it. So there we come to know about the word like active learning and the passive learning. One thing is, like, for example, when the student is sitting in the classroom, it is called the active learning time. Passive learning is when they are just moving around, they come across a lot of things which they learn actually, but exactly they don't know what they have learned unless until there is an opportunity for them to expose that or to show that what they have learned. Okay. Now, a flipped classroom actually it motivates the students to take the ownership of the learning. how many of us actually we give the ownership of learning to the students? I think, including me, we mostly go with this part that, okay, I am going to teach this lesson today. Okay. And sometimes we just do the scaffolding. Sometimes we do the brainstorming kind of a thing. Okay, I'm just bringing in that point to the students. So let's see what they know about it. Okay, but how many of times we have seen and we have switched or we have changed our lesson because when we did the brainstorming, we came to know that the students need more scaffolding. So that more scaffolding actually is missing. That is actually totally missing in our lessons. तो एक बात तो ये हो गई ना कि जो टीचर हैं वो एक फिक्स्ड माइंडसेट के साथ क्लास में जा रहा है तो फ्लिप्ड क्लासरूम एक्चुअली इट गिव्स यू दिस लिवरेज टू द टीचर दैट they can switch according to the needs of the students because the student has come up with his own critical thinking, with his own active learning that he has done at home, and now he wants you to like put the steps or to develop the learning procedure for him. So like the flipped classroom actually it helps in this way that it moves the teacher, the students and the teacher out of their comfort zone. Okay. Yeah, when you are telling me that like you start with the questioning, so actually you have prepared a lot of questions in which you want the students to come to your topic that you have prepared rather than you come up with the questions or you come up with something general questions in which you can know about, okay, where should I take them, rather than you have already pre-decided destination in your mind. Okay, so now, what is the teacher and the students, what they do? Okay. Now, the teacher and the teachers, they collaborate. Teacher and the students, they work together and try to get their problems solved. Student घर से पढ़ के आया है कुछ, definitely हमारे students थोड़े से extra smart भी होते हैं. They always come up with additional questions and they sometimes test our knowledge that how much the teacher knows. तो टीचर और टीचर आपस में कोलैबोरेट करते हैं. Now, what is the good thing about the flipped classroom? Again, once you have made audio or the video of a lecture, so maybe 2-3 teachers, they work together, they teach the same class. आप उन्होंने एक वीडियो बना ली, दूसरे लेसन की वीडियो आपने बना ली, तीसरे लेसन की वीडियो तीसरे टीचर ने बना ली. All of them, they just share their activities and their videos. Students will just watch that video at home, and once they have watched it, they return with the basic knowledge that they have. The scaffolding is done actually at home without even you being present there. तो टीचर्स की कोलैबोरेशन से आपका एक तो वर्कलोड कम हो जाता है, राइट? सो अगेन that is like very important कि टीचर्स का कोलैबोरेशन कितना स्ट्रांग है, right? We love to work with the teachers, but a lot of times we are not that close to our colleagues or teachers so that we share a lot of videos and audios with one another. तो शायद पाकिस्तान में थोड़ा सा अभी भी हम एक दूसरे से थोड़ा सा कोलैबोरेट करते हुए परेशान होते हैं. But that should not be the part. And I know a lot of new teachers, those who are right with me, they do a lot. Peer observation is a good one, but like there you just learn how they are lecturing or conducting an activity. Okay, so the running of the class and the classroom management and all the stuff that's a part of the peer observation. My focus is not the peer observation. My focus is आपके पास 16 lessons हैं, 4 lessons, 4 टीचर अगर पढ़ा रहे हैं तो इजीली दे कैन कोलैबोरेट विद वन अनदर कि मैंने ये लेसन जो है ना इसकी ऑडियो बना दिया या वीडियो बना दिया, और या द सेम लाइक वी हैव दिस फ्लिप क्लासरूम लेक्चर गोइंग ऑन एंड देयर इज अ जूम रिकॉर्डिंग इट एंड वी शेयर विद वन अनदर, राइट? तो वो जो कोलैबोरेशन है ना, वो बड़ा पावरफुल हो जाता है और मीनिंगफुल हो जाता है. एंड देन वी ऑल्सो लर्न, यार इसने ऐसे वीडियो बनाई थी, दैट्स अ वेरी गुड आइडिया, व्हाई कैन नॉट आई वर्क विद दैट. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, फ्लिप्ड क्लासरूम में आप क्लासरूम का काम घर में करवा रहे हैं, और जो आप क्लासरूम का काम घर में चला जाता है, तो अब क्लासरूम में आके वो क्या कर रहा है? डेफिनेटली यू आर एक्चुअली टेस्टिंग एंड गिविंग देम what they need in the classroom. These are the activities जो पढ़ के आए हैं, how much successful they are. So what's the basics now? So we have the basic now. Okay, a flipped classroom. Okay, traditional lectures done at home, practice and activities done in the classroom. This is what actually. So uses summative and formative assessments to enforce learning effectively, right? Now, you are using continuous assessment also, and you are using at the end of the class also, or maybe at the end of the complete lectures also. Yes, this is one of the problems with the flipped classroom is, माजरत के साथ, हमारे यहाँ तो पेरेंट्स का ये हाल है, और बाजू का स्कूल मैनेजमेंट का भी ये हाल होता है कि उस टीचर को अच्छा टीचर ही नहीं समझते जो होमवर्क नहीं देता. आप क्लास में से होमवर्क खत्म कर दें, दूसरे दिन पेरेंट आपके पास कंप्लेंट लेके आ जाएंगे कि आप कैसे टीचर हैं कि घर के लिए आप होमवर्क नहीं दे रहे, राइट? तो ये भी एक अच्छा पॉइंट है कि हर रोज आप उनको एक वीडियो देखने को दे देते हैं कि लेट्स गो एंड वॉच दिस वीडियो एंड लेट्स सी व्हाट यू हैव गॉट. तो आपकी बात ठीक है कि 30 to 40% स्टूडेंट्स, लेकिन एज ए टीचर दिस इज अवर जॉब कि हम उस 30 to 40% को 1 to 2% पे लेके आए. ठीक है, तो आप अपने 1 to 2% के लिए आप अपने पूरी टीचिंग मेथोडोलॉजी को तो दाव पे नहीं लगाएंगे ना. सो डेफिनेटली यू आर गोइंग ट्राइंग टू फिक्स दैट 1 or 2% इन योर क्लासरूम. वो तो 2 से 3 स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं अमूमन, उसके लिए पे डिफरेंट टेक्निक्स लगाई जाती हैं, राइट? नाउ इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि हम समझते हैं कि यार स्टूडेंट ने वीडियो देख ली और वो आ गया. यार we have 50 minutes now, 50 minutes. Now these 50 minutes are a hell of a time when the students are engaged, right? And यही 50 मिनट आपके लिए 15 मिनट लगते हैं जब आप क्लास में बोलना शुरू करते हैं. ऑनेस्टली, बिकॉज आई एम अ यूनिवर्सिटी टीचर, तो हमारे यहाँ तो लेक्चर ही चलता है. हम तो स्टूडेंट से सवाल कर लें तो उनको लगता है कि ये जो है ना अपने लेक्चर से डेविएट कर गया, इसको आगे आता नहीं है. So this is something that I see that nowadays the modern schools or the good teachers, ठीक है, I would strongly recommend you कि आप जब भी किसी डेमोज वगैरह के लिए जा रहे होते हैं तो अपने लेसन प्लान में अपने ब्रेकअप करके जरूर लेके जाया करें कि आपके पास हर 10-15 मिनट्स के बाद एक्टिविटी शिफ्ट हो रही है, और द लास्ट एक्टिविटी शुड बी the like mother of all activities in which everything is like brought under one umbrella. So flipped classroom jo hai, I know it's a bit complicated in Pakistani environment, but I have used it at some points in Pakistan, and mostly in Saudi Arabia and the other teachings, the part of the world that I have taught. वहाँ पे हमें फ्लिप्ड क्लासरूम में कभी कोई इशू नहीं होता था. Once we have given them an audio or a video or like a small activity that they have to do at home while watching this video, so that we know that they have watched the video. और उसमें भी डिफरेंशिएशन रखी जाती थी कि अच्छे स्टूडेंट के लिए थोड़ी सी डिफिकल्ट, और जो मेरे स्ट्रगलिंग स्टूडेंट हैं उनके लिए ऐसी कि उनका कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल हाई हो जाए, राइट? अनफॉर्चुनेटली हम पाकिस्तान में ना हम स्टूडेंट से ऐसा सवाल करते हैं जो उसको ना आए, एंड देन वी आर वेरी प्राउड, देखा मैंने इससे ऐसा सवाल किया कि इसको आता ही नहीं था. सो एक्चुअली माय जॉब इज टू मेक देम फील दैट दे नो. ओके, एक मूवी है, इफ यू वॉच इट, द रॉन क्लार्क, उसी के बेसिस पे उसने एक स्कूल भी अमेरिका में स्टेब्लिश किया हुआ है. सो द रॉन क्लार्क फिलोसफी भी बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग फिलोसफी है. यू शुड वॉच इट, रीड इट. सो The only problem with the flipped classroom is it needs very careful designing. And secondly, it needs purposeful activities. Okay. It's not just bringing the tons of activities in the classroom and then expect them to that the students will be doing wonderful job in the classroom. Now, as a teacher, आपका काम खत्म नहीं हुआ. As a teacher, आपका काम बढ़ गया. So it's not a magic bullet, right? Why I say a magic bullet? Because it's not going to do everything. It's only going to make sure that everything is working fine in the classroom. और आपका जो teaching and learning का जो plan था, that is successful. Is that clear, guys? So let's move forward. Now, what are the strategies? Okay, अब ये बड़ा important element है कि हमारी strategies क्या हैं to make sure कि हमारे पास जो student हैं they are learning. I think most of you have used Khan Academy. Yes, I assume that a lot of you have used Khan Academy. मैं खान अकेडमी को अपने बच्चों को पढ़ाने के लिए यूज करता हूँ. मैं खुद नहीं पढ़ाता हूँ उनको. मैं कहता हूँ खान अकेडमी पे चले जाओ, ये चीज देख के आओ, एंड देन यू कम एंड टॉक टू मी, राइट? एंड there are a lot of other, like for example, most of the time I do the quizzes on Kahoot or Socrates. Okay. Now, all these, like the reading comprehensions, the Khan Academy videos and the activities, these are available. These are the resources. So, zaruri nahi hai ke we have to reinvent the bulb. Okay, the bulb is invented. Now I need to learn how to use it. तो आपको बल्ब रीइन्वेंट नहीं करना जरूरी है. आपको पूरी लेसन, maybe you have a very good video on the YouTube that is already available there. So why don't you just give them the link or download it and share with them, and they can just watch it and they can return to you, right? But finding the resources. Then the second part is finding a partner, the one who is willing to work with you. Okay. Yeah, I can share a list with you, which we can use in the other ways, like you have the YouTube. I have one more other very good reading comprehension one. I'll share. Okay. Now, finding the partner. Okay. Now, like a lot of times, as I said, like we have this problem in Pakistani society. I'm sorry to say, I'm really very sorry to say, हमारे यहाँ पे teachers jealousy अपनी peak पे है. We to be honest, हम पाकिस्तानियों ने as a teachers, I'm sorry to use the word, as a teacher हम पाकिस्तानियों ने एक दूसरे को appreciate करना ही छोड़ दिया. हम जब भी देख रहे होते हैं, हम हर टीचर में से फॉल्ट निकाल के बैठ जाते हैं. मैंने यूके बेस्ड के साथ काम किया है, एंड ऑनेस्टली आई वाज डिलीवरिंग अ लेक्चर और टीचिंग कर रहा था, एंड टीचिंग के बीच में द स्टूडेंट आस्क्ड अ क्वेश्चन, और मैंने अपना पूरा लेक्चर जो क्लास प्लान की हुई थी वो छोड़ के, एंड आई मूव्ड एंड मेड श्योर कि उसका वो जो क्यूरी है वो कंप्लीट हो जाए. और मेरे पीछे जो है ऑब्जर्वर बैठे हुए थे ऑफस्टेड के, यूके की एक बिल्कुल हॉरिफाइंग कंपनी है या एजेंसी है जो कि टीचर्स पे मॉनिटरिंग करती है. तो एंड दैट एक्चुअली I was also a bit worried कि यार अब इसको ये क्या कहेगा, but he came to me and he said like, I really appreciate that you cater for the students' need rather than you went with your planner. कि आप जो प्लान करके आए थे दैट वाज नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट, जो स्टूडेंट की नीड थी वो कितनी इंपॉर्टेंट थी. अनफॉर्चुनेटली पाकिस्तान में अगर आप ये करेंगे और पीछे ऑब्जर्वेशन में बैठा होगा तो वो तो आपको माइनस दे देगा कि लेसन प्लान फॉलो ही नहीं किया. तो आई थिंक वी नीड टू develop as a teachers also, and we have to be as a teachers मॉनिटरिंग प्रोसेस जो है हमारे यहाँ बस फॉल्ट निकाल के बैठ जाते हैं. लाइक अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स मेरे पास पाकिस्तान में जब टीचिंग कर रहे होते तो एंड आई यूज्ड टू हैव इंग्लिश कॉन्वर्सेशन क्लास. तो जब वो कॉन्वर्सेशन होती थी तो उसमें बड़ी नॉइज होती थी ना, बिकॉज इट्स अ कॉन्वर्सेशन क्लास. तो एकदम से एक फ्लोर सुपरवाइजर आ जाते थे, आपकी क्लास से बहुत नॉइज आ रहा है. अरे भाई, इट्स अ पॉजिटिव नॉइज, इट्स अ पॉजिटिव बज. नो, साथ वाली क्लासें डिस्टर्ब होती हैं. तो आई यूज टू आस्क देम, तो भाई फिर एक काम करो, हमें समझा दो कि कॉन्वर्सेशन कैसे करवानी है. तो इसका नाम चेंज करके हम लोग करेंगे इंग्लिश विस्परिंग क्लास, क्योंकि इसमें हम विस्परिंग करेंगे, कॉन्वर्सेशन तो नहीं कर सकते. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू नीड टू फाइंड a teacher with you who can collaborate with you. Like collaboration से सिर्फ ये फायदा होता है, बड़ा फायदा होता है, कि जो काम एक्टिविटीज आपने 2 साल में डेवलप करनी है वो 6 माह में डेवलप हो जाती हैं. नेक्स्ट 1.5 ईयर में आप उन पे इम्प्रूवमेंट पे काम कर रहे होते हो रादर देन डेवलपमेंट पे, राइट. तो डेफिनेटली वंस यू डेवलप देम, आप उनको ऐसे ही तो नहीं छोड़ सकते ना. you need to improve them according to you need to improve them according to the need of the class. हमारे यहाँ एक बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्सेप्ट है कि हमने कवर टू कवर चलना है, और हमने जो लेसन तरतीब दिए हुए हैं इनके मुताबिक चलो. एट टाइम्स कुछ स्कूल्स होंगे जिसमें वो कहते हैं, but like I just ask a question, why do I need the topic from a book? Because I have to sell a book and they have to buy a book, right? Why don't I just have a topic and me as you as a teachers, we decide what they should read under it. We decide what kind of activities that we have to do. तो ये फ्लिप्ड क्लासरूम या जो आपके पास प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड टीचिंग है, या जितने भी मॉडर्न वर्ड्स आपके पास, फैंसी मॉडर्न वर्ड्स यूज हो रहे होते हैं, these fancy modern words actually they give the autonomy to the teachers, that these teachers can do a lot of wonders in their classrooms, right? So one thing that we need to work on is the access. Right now I'm living in Khuzdar, right? It's 380 kilometers away from Karachi on the way towards Quetta. Um, like I just came here because it's very peaceful here, all right? So what we need to think about access, like we see that the COVID-19 actually has totally changed the dimensions of the learning. Before that, we used to tell them, and this sentence मुझे अपने thesis में भी मैंने लिखा हुआ है, that वो teacher ने कहा कि before we used to tell them, put your phones into your bags or the pockets, and now we tell them, take out your cell phones. तो ये जो चेंज आया है हमारा कि नाउ टेक आउट योर सेल फोन्स, तो उसको हमने इम्प्लीमेंट करना है क्लास में. हाउ टू डू दिस? आई थिंक दिस इज वेयर वी नीड टू एजुकेट द पेरेंट्स, वी नीड टू एजुकेट द स्टूडेंट्स, एंड वी नीड टू मेक श्योर दैट दे नो the benefits. Now this is the last part, is engage students, right? Discussions करनी है हमने. We need to talk to the students, we need to ask a question. Most probably एक strategy आपको पता होगी कि whenever we have a question, हमारे यहाँ क्या होता है, हमारे यहाँ पहले टीचर सवाल करता है, फिर उसके बाद हम बहुत सारे हाथ देखते हैं, टीचर, मिस मिस मिस, और फिर हम टीचर मुस्कुराते हुए एक अपने जो फेवरेट स्टूडेंट होता, या द वन वी हेट द मोस्ट, हम उसकी तरफ डायरेक्ट कर देते हैं क्वेश्चन कि भाई चलो जवाब दो, राइट? और जब वो जवाब दे देते हैं तो वी थिंक दैट वी हैव अचीव्ड, राइट? एक स्ट्रेटेजी तो ये है. दूसरी स्ट्रेटेजी आपके पास हमेशा होनी चाहिए, फर्स्ट पॉइंट एंड देन आस्क, राइट? फर्स्ट पॉइंट, पहले आप स्टूडेंट को खड़ा करें, राइट? आप पहले स्टूडेंट को खड़ा करें फिर सवाल करें. एक तो आपकी क्लास में से डिस्टर्बेंस खत्म हो जाएगी, बिकॉज दे नो हु इज गोइंग टू आंसर, राइट? और आपने भी स्टूडेंट को उसी लिहाज से खड़ा करना, राइट? उसी लिहाज से खड़ा करना, उसी क्वेश्चन को आपने उसकी तरफ टारगेट करना जो उसको आता हो. ऐसा क्वेश्चन नहीं टारगेट करना जो उसको ना आता हो, ठीक है? Farheen, you mentioned about the classroom concepts and the resources. I think the very first thing, अगर आपके पास एक अदद डिजिटल सेल फोन है, स्क्रीन वाला है, कैमरा लगा हुआ है, um, what you want the school to provide you? Um, do they stop you from recording your own voice and video so that you can share with your? I don't think so. उसके बाद एक्टिविटी डिजाइन करनी है, that's still your prerogative कि आपका विलिंग है या नहीं है. Being, like वो कहते हैं ना कि the unprofessionals, they quarrel with their tools. So don't quarrel with your tools. We have, but unfortunately, most of the time we try to find excuses. So excuses ढूंढेंगे तो फिर definitely this workshop is, or any workshop is not useful for any of us. क्योंकि हम जब भी yeah, yeah, we need to. अब मैं थोड़ा सा टॉपिक, आपके क्वेश्चन आ रहा है कि some students hesitate. तो यार मेरा ख्याल है कि आपकी क्लास में हेजिटेशन अगर है तो इट मींस कि आपकी स्टूडेंट्स के साथ रैपो डेवलप नहीं हुई. Okay, if a student is hesitant in your class and he is hesitant in asking a question in your class, it means you didn't develop a rapport with them. तो आप अपनी रैपो पे काम कर लें, हेजिटेशन खुद ब खुद खत्म हो जाएगी. That's one of the suggestions. Okay, so engage the students. Now, it's not necessary कि हम nothing comes without challenges. Nothing comes without challenges. मैं sometimes I say कि नमाज का सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज ये है कि आपको सख्त सर्दी में बाजू का ठंडे पानी से वजू करना पड़ता. तो ये पहला चैलेंज है जो आप ब्रेक कर लेते हो. And then no one can stop us from offering the prayers. But once we have done the wuzu, if I am in the wuzu, I mean the challenge is already overcome. I can go and pray. तो भाई challenges of the flipped classroom भी हैं, but these are challenges, right? These are opportunities. So मेरा ख्याल है challenges को अगर मैं I change this word with opportunity, I think definitely you will learn more with that, because like automatically if I say opportunity, it means I'm thinking about how can I overcome that. Like for example, uncertain use of extra time. Extra time to have, but like it's only for maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year, or maybe just first year. But if you are collaborating, it's just 6 months or maybe 3 months. Rest, everything is prepared now. Next year, you are just फाइन ट्यूनिंग की जरूरत आ रही है कि हम लास्ट उसमें, बीइंग अ रिफ्लेक्टिव टीचर अगर आप हो तो आप उसमें देखते हो कि लास्ट ईयर व्हेन आई कंडक्टेड दिस लेसन, व्हाट problems did I face, right? What problems did I face? So like it's a kind of we need to fine tune, right? Significant planning record. Like as I said, आपने उसमें एक लेसन प्लान बनाया है तो उसमें आपने उसमें वीडियो कितने टाइम की रखी गई है, हाउ मच द स्टूडेंट्स विल बी प्रिपेयरिंग एट होम. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि 2 घंटे, like 3 hours he is just watching a video. The video must be 15-20 minutes max, okay, in which you are covering everything like your TT time in the classroom, and then teaching approaches and the changes that we have in the teaching approaches. Keep in mind, whenever I have this workshop with anyone regarding the teaching methodologies, तो हम ये समझना शुरू कर देते हैं कि I can apply the flipped classroom on each and every topic, right? No, please. It's not like this. You need to be a very good judge of that. यार अगर इस लेसन को मैं टास्क बेस से पढ़ाऊं या मैं इसको कम्युनिकेटिव अप्रोच से पढ़ाऊं, या maybe it needs a lecture, or maybe it needs a like hands-on activities or experiential learning करवानी है. ठीक है, तो हर लेसन के लिए आपको appropriate teaching methodology को apply करना बहुत जरूरी है. Like most probably if you just take a teaching methodology and just you apply it, I don't think so it's going to work. So make sure teachers needs guidance, right? guidance in a way that, like, maybe you have a lot of, like, for example, we have just one workshop. I have introduced this topic to you. To some of you, it's just, like repetition of what they have already know, right? Plannings में आपके पास video creations हैं, discussion time है, all this stuff is needed. And fifth, demand shift in teaching methods and classroom management. अब ये classroom management, how to manage it, it's also very important that how you are going to work with that, right? तो ये बड़ा आपके लिए एक kind of an opportunity है to grow, right? Like opportunity is opportunity देखे ना, अगर एक caterpillar will not go into the cocoon and it says, oh, मेरा दम घुट जाएगा इस cocoon में, मैं मर जाऊंगा, right? So it's not turned into a beautiful butterfly. Okay, so these opportunities are there to turn us into butterflies. Okay, अब मेल सोच रहे होंगे कि फीमेल तो बटरफ्लाई हो जाएंगी, हम क्या चेंज होंगे? Just we can change into butters, right? And then we will fly. तो हम switch कर लेंगे job, because definitely if you are a good teacher, आपको एक और better pay पे एक better school में with more opportunities and resources आपको जगह मिलती है, ठीक है? So this is very, very important for us. Very, very important for us that we should yeah, that is very point, like के कोविड के टाइम पे हमें पीपीटी और जूम इस्तेमाल करने में कितनी तकलीफ हो रही थी. आई डू रिमेम्बर के I use Team and I use a lot of, and then I use the Zoom, and then we were looking at a lot of things that we were coming across. And being, like in the resourceful countries, we were struggling, right? So, but yeah, there we had a lot of mentors. पाकिस्तान में हमने खुद सीखा जो भी सीखा, राइट? देयर वाज नो मेंटरिंग, इट वाज ओनली, पाकिस्तान में सिर्फ एक ऑर्डर आ जाता है, कल सुबह असेंबली 7:30 बजे होगी, दे डोंट इवन थिंक हाउ दे विल रीच, राइट? दे जस्ट गिव द ऑर्डर्स. तो वो मेंटरिंग प्रोसेस जरा हमारे यहाँ स्लो है, राइट? दैट्स द होल एक्सपीरियंस, राइट? क्लासरूम, द फ्लिप्ड क्लासरूम, अगर आप देखेंगे on your left, on the right top corner, जो पहला quarter है, that's actually experiential learning, right? What they already know, what they already do, right, in the classroom, maybe in the games, right? Then the second part is the concept exploration. You give them the video, and while they are watching a video, you give them additional links. ठीक है? अब ये एक वीडियो के साथ additional links क्यों दे रहा हूं मैं? Because my slow learner will only watch that 20 minutes video, and my good learners or my good students, they will go online, they will just be exploring more and more and more. Okay, then there will be other people who will experiential learning plus concept exploration, they will be writing blogs, right? That happens very rarely, but they do. And then the last one is the demonstration and application, how they are using, like ये जो आपके पास 3 quarter की learning है, experience है, concept है, meaning making है. Now that's very important point. अगर आप इसको meaning making में आप रखेंगे, तो यहाँ पे इस वक्त जितने भी हमारे participants हैं, teachers हैं, everyone is giving meaning in their own ways to everything that I'm saying. And this is this is very, very important for us. अगर मैं meaning नहीं दूंगा तो मेरे पास learning भी नहीं होगी. Unfortunately, we as a teachers, what we do, we want every student in our class to reach the same meaning what we want them. तो हमने वो differences जो हमने रखे या एक critical reading का part है, उसको हम ignore कर देते हैं. So actually अगर आप राइट पे देखेंगे, टॉप पे लिखा है राइट कॉर्नर में एक्सपीरियंस है, राइट? एंड देन इट्स द लेफ्ट राइट कॉर्नर इट्स व्हाट, एंड देन द लेफ्ट राइट कॉर्नर, द राइट पे व्हाट है और लेफ्ट पे सो व्हाट, राइट? एंड देन नाउ व्हाट. तो आपने ये एक्सपीरियंस व्हाट सो व्हाट से नाउ व्हाट, जब व्हेन दे कम टू द क्लासरूम, नाउ व्हाट यू वांट देम टू डू, आप उनकी जो कुछ लर्निंग आए हैं, यू आर गोइंग टू गिव देम समथिंग न्यू, और आर यू गोइंग टू गिव देम द सेम ओल्ड, like the same old stuff, right? So the same old stuff अगर आप दे रहे हो तो definitely आपकी demonstration and application skills weak हैं. The student has done his experiential engagement, concept exploration, उसने making money में meaning making भी कर ली, but what about the demonstration? तो me as a teacher, मैंने तीन चीजों को, like the first 3 quarters are the scaffolding that I have done, right? So I failed to create personalization. I failed to create now what they can do with this knowledge. So flipped classroom actually is the like ecological model, जिसमें आपका mobile phones, environment, society, classroom, everything comes, and then they gather all the knowledge that they have and they bring it to one, and I as a teacher, I have to explore it, right? I have to give them, I have to stretch their knowledge. So in the past, we used to have 30 to 40 minutes lecture, then 10 to minutes, and then we have 20 to 30 minutes practice activity, 5 minutes warm up, and we go home, right? Now we have big lectures, 10 minutes question answers on the video that they have watched, 75-minute guided and independent practice in which you give them the activities, okay? And the 5 minutes warm up or the close up, whatever you call it, right? Now, number one, the step. Understand the benefit and challenges of flipping. For every lesson that you need to do, flip काम भी करेगा या नहीं करेगा, right? ऐसा तो नहीं है कि क्या हम उस कौम में से तो नहीं है जो मरी की ठंड में जाके आइसक्रीम खा रही होती है, जबकि कराची या दूसरे इलाकों में सर्दी होती है तो आइसक्रीम ही नहीं मिलती. Then we say, oh, it was a very fun that we used to have ice cream in the Murray. आज इतनी ठंडा आइसक्रीम खा रहे हो, राइट? तो फ्लिप क्लासरूम काम कर भी रही है या नहीं कर रही, राइट? क्रिएट, develop your first class video or resources, right? Then schedule flipping for next semester or summer sessions. आप अपने आप को एक ही दिन में इसके अंदर इन्वॉल्व मत कीजिए. What you need to do, you need to engage with the community, you need to engage with your partners, you need to engage with your fellow teachers, right? Talk to them, plan and execute, right? Okay, now, before I go to the conclusion, I'll share with you a short lesson plan. Okay, I'm stopping this one. And I'll share a lesson plan. Sorry, I need to be. Now, very quickly, I will go through this lesson plan. Okay. Definitely ये तो हमारे एक वो लेवल लगे हुए होते हैं कि जी by the end of the lesson the student will do this. आपको इसकी जनरल लेसन्स का पता है. We have a 50-minute lesson. इसमें हम कंप्यूटर टैबलेट्स ऑनलाइन एक्सेस हैं, ये सब चीज़ें अवेलेबल हैं. They will watch a video at home. Okay. And हमारा जो टॉपिक है वो है present simple tense, affirmative, negative and question forms, right? Now, they will watch a video at home, okay? And this is their focus that they will be looking at, okay? And students will take notes of the video to identify the rules and examples presented. So it means जो काम आपने क्लास में करना था, अपना TT का जो 20% का आपका टाइम है, right? Once they come, after watching the video, आप उनको एक interactive quiz दे देते हैं that they have watched it or not. ठीक है? ये आप जो interactive quiz है, you can do it at Kahoot. Okay, that's the best app that you can use. And they can say, okay, you have a video on this, and from 8 p.m. आप Kahoot को open कर देते हैं कि ये 8 o'clock open होगा या 7 o'clock open होगा, and it will shut down at 10 p.m. तो 8 से या 7 o'clock से 10 o'clock तक Kahoot, तो आप उस पर क्विज ले लेते हैं and the quiz scores are with you, right? तो वो individual quizzes में चले जाते हो आप. Now, when they come to the class in the next day, right? In the next class, when they come, right? What you have to do? You just give them the warm-up. What are the difference between? These are just my questions, okay? And then can you give example of this? You give them warm-up, you give them a present simple activities, you give them affirmative, आप cue cards बनाते हो, आप उनके लिए maybe classroom में कोई वीडियो सेशन एक और चला देते हो, राइट? और उनसे कहते हो कि जी आइडेंटिफाई करें इसको इंडिविजुअल में, ग्रुप्स में। आप उनके व्हाट्सएप के ग्रुप्स बना देते हो, उन ग्रुप्स के ऊपर आप एक वीडियो भेज देते हो, डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स के लिए डिफरेंट आप एक्टिविटीज भेज देते हो। All these activities, now they are working on the same task, but they are learning at different speeds, right? So then you can ask them for an individual activity, like fill in the blanks करवा लेते हो आप उनसे, या क्लास का क्विज करवा लेते हो। अगर आपके पास you have Wi-Fi sessions in your classroom and you can engage a lab, आप उनको Kahoot पे ले जाएं, Socrates पे ले जाएं, right? Right? So that's very very important with us, to us. तो आप उसके पास एंड में आप कॉन्वर्सेशन करवा लिख सकते हो, आप उसको कहते हो कि रोल प्लेस एक्टिविटीज करवा लेते हैं हम, एंड द स्टूडेंट कैन डू द कॉन्वर्सेशन विद दैट, and then in the end you can do some formative and summative assessments, right? So when we are looking at the teacher, right? तो देखें, first thing मैं ये हमेशा समझता हूँ, and I also believe that you should also be believing in this part, is that you as a teacher shall not be worried about the resources. You shall be only worried about the student, right? If you are worried about the student, honestly, every challenge that is coming towards you, it's from the management, or is it from your learning, or the time and all this stuff, it will become an opportunity for you. Because at the end of the day, it's me who is learning. The students will learn, they will move forward, but what I have learned, it will remain with me. Okay? तो ये एक चीज को अपने पास ना एज ए टीचर अपने साथ वो क्या कहते हैं, घुट्टी में बांध लो, या एक ऐसा आपके पास होना चाहिए that you should be working on that. So let's conclude our presentation on this topic. Number one, classroom student centered approach है, right? आप पहले हमारे पास होती थी टीचर सेंटर्ड अप्रोच, और टीचर सेंटर्ड अप्रोच में मैं कहता रहा हूँ कि टीचर सेंटर्ड अप्रोच का मतलब होता है कि द स्टूडेंट कम्स टू लिसन टू मी। स्टूडेंट सेंटर्ड अप्रोच में ये होता है कि माय होल एक्टिविटी इज रिवॉल्विंग अराउंड द स्टूडेंट, ही शुड बी लर्निंग। वो जो मैंने आपसे शुरू में बात कही थी ना, टीचिंग एंड लर्निंग। अगर आपकी क्लास में अब हम टीचर नहीं हैं, हम फैसिलिटेटर्स हैं, डायरेक्टर्स हैं, राइट, असिस्टेंट्स हैं, तो एक तो ये अपने दिमाग में से आप थोड़ा सा निकाल लीजिए दैट यू आर द फाउंटेन ऑफ नॉलेज। नाउ चैट जीपीटी हैज मोर नॉलेज देन मी, ठीक है, और उसका पेड वर्जन तो पीएचडी लेवल का है, राइट? बट इट्स अ ह्यूमन टू ह्यूमन इंटरेक्शन दैट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट। मेरा स्टूडेंट इंसान है, मैं इंसान हूँ, आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड। increased collaboration है इसमें, you can collaborate with your students, you can collaborate with your peers, you can collaborate with everyone around you, right? Enhanced learning outcomes है, आप you will definitely see a lot of difference in your students, because autonomous learning means more learning, right? Flexible environment है, you can give them a lecture of 15 minutes, 30 minutes का हो जाएगा, 2 हिस्सों में दे दें, ठीक है? और adaptation, ठीक है? वो कहते हैं ना कि जो स्पीशीज अडेप्ट नहीं कर सकती, सॉरी, जो स्पीशीज जो हैं अडेप्ट नहीं कर सकती, वो वैनिश हो जाती हैं। तो ऐसा ना हो कि हम एज अ टीचर्स टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ इंटीग्रेशन के साथ, टेक्नोलॉजी इंटीग्रेशन इन द क्लासरूम, इस जनरेशन के लिए हम टेक्नोलॉजी को इंटीग्रेट ना कर सकें, एंड स्लोली एंड ग्रेजुअली देन वी विल बी वैनिश्ड। तो ऑनेस्टली, स्टॉप लुकिंग इन योर मिरर। शीशे में देख के अपने आप को डायनासोर मत समझिए दैट आई एम गोइंग टू लिव फॉर एवर, ठीक है? दे वैनिश्ड बिकॉज दे कुडंट अडेप्ट, right? Thank you very much, so nice of you. I would have loved to have question answer sessions, but restrictions, right? Thank you, so nice of you. Over to you, Miss Farheen.
Thank you very much for conducting such a wonderful session, sir. And on behalf of EDLA Pakistan, EDLA Foundation, in fact, I, Hajra Muhammad Salim, and Ms. Fareen Hassan would like to thank you for your time and for unboxing the entire concept of flipped classroom and sharing different platforms and strategies with us. And we look forward to having you, inshallah, in some other session for you to
Sure.
come and impart more knowledge with our teachers. And
Inshallah.
I'm sharing the certificate link here in the chat box for our teachers, so you all may generate your certificates. And as we do that, if you guys have any last remarks or any feedback for sir, I would request you all to please share your comments in the chat box while we wrap up the session. And this was the last session for the June series of our summer camp. Inshallah, after a short break, we will see you in the sessions that are lined up for July, inshallah. So take care, everyone, and we hope that you guys will join us soon in the next session.